37 weeks to go. Counting down. It's a bit surreal, that is, 37 weeks, but yeah, it's counting down. But last week I did the footage from Isle of Wight. The video went out last week from me stepping out of my comfort zone and filming the Isle of Wight. So I've had a sense of achievement this week for actually doing that, and a bit of I don't know how to explain it, but I felt really good in myself because I actually went through with it and did the video. It's a big thing. I stepped out of my comfort zone massively last week, but looking back at it and watching it and getting out there, I've really enjoyed it. It was good. So yeah, that was that done. So we're on to 37 weeks to go now, and it's counting down. It is red hot again today, and I haven't put any cream on when I come out, which is why the hat's backwards, protecting the sun on the back of my neck. But we're going to get in, have a walk, and as I said at the end of last week's episode, it's going to be more about the importance of talking today and how it helps me. Last series was about things, life lessons I lived, and things that helped me, a bit of a similar theme. But I just think it's important to explain the importance of talking, so we will get further up and we will get into that in a little bit. We're on our way up, and just going on to last week's episode, why it's so important to me. There's a couple of different reasons. I spoke before in videos on the previous series, Mind Over Mountain, about things that I've learned to do, life lessons and things that help me. Stepping out of my comfort zone was one of them. Filming in front of people is really out of my comfort zone, so it was important. I stuck to doing it after the end of series 1 because I said I was going to do it, so I've done it. I loved it. It was so tough at times, and I was sat there filming at times, and where I'm walking I can feel myself clear minds and what I want to talk about. Even sat down last week filming, I was still conscious of people around me, and it stopped the thoughts just coming to my head. So I hope the video come out all right, and if it didn't, I don't know. That's to people to judge, and I can't say who it is. I was comfortable with it, I was happy with it, and ultimately it's helped me out. It's got me over that fear a little bit of filming in front of people. Now, is it completely gone? No, not at all. We've still got to get used to it, we've still got to do it, but I did what I wanted to do, and if I hadn't done it, I'd have come back with a lot of regret. So it was important. We got into a lot of conversations last week with, as I said, people we met around the tent about the importance of talking and why it's so important, and we're going to get into that more in a bit. But the conversations with Paul and Righty last week were, I really appreciate it. I really appreciated them both wanting to do it, both wanting to get involved, both opening up, and it's never easy to do it at first, so I do appreciate it. And they've come around from talking and conversations, and it's a struggle at times, but if you're not willing to step out your comfort zone, how are you going to know if you enjoy it? Is ultimately what I'm getting at. I had to do it because, like I said, I think I'd have been a bit hypocritical if you hadn't have. Will I do it again? Yeah, definitely at some point, 100%, because as I speak about, the only things that give me a buzz now is stepping out of my comfort zone. I've missed doing this. I've missed being out of the mountains filming. It seems like ages since I've done it, and so we're going to get back to it. But stick around. We'll get further up, and we'll get into why talking helps me. Again, this is opinions. This is my opinions. This is what I've learned to do. What helps me, and this isn't advice. I ain't qualified. I'm not qualified to give advice, but the importance of talking. So we will get into it more a bit further up. We just mentioned about the importance of talking, and it was something I've learned to do anyway. I've learned to talk more, but it was after conversation with people last week in the Isle of Wight. Emphasises the importance of talking, and for me there's a couple of different ways of looking at the importance of talking regarding which way you're looking at it. You can talking so important in all the ways I'm going to go through, and for me, you can talk to people to kind of verify a decision you might make, to back up the decision you've made, and to see if you think the decision's right. A more important one is if you talk to somebody, if you're willing to talk to somebody to find out if you're actually wrong about something, because the videos I've done before about admitting me wrong is a big thing to learn and help, and that's one of the life lessons I learned. But if you're willing to talk to somebody with a thought process you might be wrong, you're already halfway there to admitting you're wrong. You might already realise that you are wrong, but the biggest reason of talking is if you're struggling with something. If you're struggling with thought process or negative things, or, you know, just going back to Righty last week, he mentioned that he talked to somebody and then the ball started moving on things, and it was a snowball effect. So talking is critically important to help us out, to get us over something we're struggling with. It helps me, and it's something I never ever used to do. I used to bottle things up, and I've done videos on this before of life lessons I learned, and I think it's important to emphasize that if you need to talk to somebody, you feel you want to talk to somebody, because bottling up doesn't work. And I am speaking from experience that I find it better. We had conversation after conversation last week about different things, and everyone has conversations about putting the world to rights and things like that, and everyone has so many different opinions, which is why conversation is so fascinating at times, and talking to people can become so fantastic. And one of the guys we met last week, he walked around and say morning to people or hi to people, because as he's rightfully said, you don't know if that's the only conversation they're going to have all day. So it's little things like that people don't actually realise, that kind of hits home, that you might walk past somebody in the morning, just say hello to him or hi to him or something, because they may not have another conversation all day long. They may not interact with anybody all day long. You might mean the world to them. You might not. They might tell you to, well, you know, I'll go. But it's just the importance of talking. We spend so much time, or kids or people spend so much time these days on social media. My opinion, society's changing and talking just doesn't seem to be going out with it. But one reason last week was so fantastically good was because we had such a laugh and a joke. Just talking. Having a joke, as people should in this day and age. People should be enjoying themselves and interacting with people. And if you're feeling stressed or you're feeling worried about something, don't be too proud to talk to somebody. Don't be too emotionally attached to what it is. But you're in fear of trying to resolve it yourself, because it doesn't help. A problem shared really is a problem helped, and it helps me out now. It helps me. Last week, talking to people about doing the YouTube channel and the fact I put myself out of my comfort zone to film in front of people, it made it easy for me, because they were all kind of supportive, so supportive, and thought it was brilliant what I was doing, which is fantastic. So by me talking last week to people about what I was doing and why I was doing it, made things easy for me to step out of my comfort zone. So it's when you actually put things together, taking little steps. I talk about little steps all the time. How important is that? If I hadn't mentioned it last week, I'd have been more stressed about everything, because I'd been forcing the filming when people weren't there. But because I mentioned it, they were so encouraging of doing it, it made it easy for me to step out of my comfort zone. So by me trying to overcome one fear, I leaned on something that I've learned in previous lessons of talking, and it helped me step out of my comfort zone last week to achieve what I wanted to achieve. I hope that makes sense. It's so critically important. It's important to me. It's important to me, for me to talk to people, to help myself out, to help myself out, and to make myself feel better. And it truly is a problem shared, a problem halved. And we've went, just as an example, I'll use that. Paul was in a video last week, and what he went through in March again was horrendous, and he spent 3 weeks in hospital, and it was so tough. And me and Anna, my wife, we spent so many days talking, so emotionally upset after going to the hospital to see him, so down and sad. But we had each other to lean on. But we had to go home and be strong then for our kids, which is really tough. But it made it easier because we spoke to each other after visiting him in the hospital, after things happening, it was tough. And I'm giving this as an example. I'm not doing it for any sympathy. I'm not. It's an example that I'm using. Now, people are going to turn around and always look at a negative in this. They're going to turn around and say, well, I haven't got anybody to talk to. Everybody's got somebody to talk to. Reach out, put a message on here, and if I can do anything to help, I will. I'll comment, I'll respond back. I'll respond back to all comments. Positive comments, I'll respond back to them all. I won't be getting involved in negative comments because I'm not wasting my time on them, to be truthfully honest. But so don't think you haven't got somebody to reach out. Send a message to me, send a message to anybody who, just to try and help. It's so critically important to do, and that's just one example. Again, I'm not doing that for sympathy. I'm not saying it for sympathy. It might come across like I am, because what Paul's family with Sarah and all the kids were going through was horrendous. They were going through a horrendous time, not knowing what was going on. We were just speaking because we were so upset with things. So please, it's not sympathy. I'm not after sympathy, but listen, guys, just reach out, talk. It really, really does help. And the saying, a problem shared is a problem halved. It's never been a truer saying. Just reach out, and please don't think you may not have anybody. As Simon was talking about last week, it's just mourning to anybody, or just smile to somebody, and people might think you're creepy. Well, that's their opinion. At least you're trying, you're reaching out, and it's a very, very valid point, but you don't know if somebody's ever going to speak to anybody else that day. So just talk, guys. It's really windy, it's really hard work, but we're on our way back down. God, my stubble grows so fast. We're on our way back down. Yeah, we're going to get back down, and we'll get finished off. But just going back to it, importance of talking. I don't want to go too much more into it. It's just a bit more reflective, and it is important. It's really, really important that you find somebody you can. Sorry, you don't need to find somebody to speak to. Reach out to somebody. As I said, if you want to drop a message in here, I will respond, as long as it's a positive way. I'm not getting involved in negative comments. I don't want to be brutally honest. But talk to somebody, reach out to somebody. It does help. But we're going to get back. We're going to get changed and see what the rest of the day brings. But it's just been a bit of a calmer one today, a bit of a shorter one after festival last week. I just wanted to follow up with a video for episode 2, and we're going to keep going with this episode and see where we get to. But the weeks are counting by. When I was walking up here and start of weeks, we're going to be into the 20s before I know it, and bloody hell, it's flying by, isn't it? It really is. It's July. It's mad. We're closer to Christmas 26 than we were to Christmas 25. It's flying by, but I can't believe how fast it's gone from me doing my list at the start here to where I'm at now and things I've achieved. I'm really proud of it. So the other thing, just to add into here, I have released a digital Christmas cookbook that I'll add the link in to here if anybody wants to go and have a look. It's on sale. If anyone wants to go and have a look, you're more than welcome. But I'm going to get back and we'll finish off, sat down with, I don't know, cold drink maybe, because it's absolutely baking, boiling again. So we're going to get back and see what the rest of the day brings. Here we are back. Shorter one today. It wasn't about the distance, it was about getting back out and about up the mountains, and something I love. We know how much I love being up there. It's phenomenal. It helps out. It's massive, and it kind of goes into the theme of what I do the channel for. And this episode today is about talking, and I love being up the mountain so much. It helps me refocus and realign, and when I factor in the fact of talking, of what I've spoke about today, the importance of talking, and how much it helps and how much it benefits me. That's what these videos are doing for me as well. I'm talking, I'm walking and talking and to the camera, and I find it's helping me. It's helping me with I don't want to say problems. It's not necessarily problems, but it helps me. It just helps me. It helps me the whole journey I've been on the mindset shift back at the start of last year. The weight loss was a thing that come after the mindset shift, and then starting this channel in January, I didn't envisage it was going to help me as much as it actually has. And I the way I can explain it is by talking. It's me talking to the camera, and it's a conversation from having again with Paul last week in the Isle of Wight, that because he wants to look at getting into YouTube channels after everything he went through and everything he did, and I said the talking to the camera has actually helped me, and it's mad how that's worked, and I really didn't see that coming. I really didn't think that it'd be the case. The whole idea of the channel come from speaking to my brother-in-law Christmas Eve, was because of what I'd gone through with a mindset shift and a weight loss, and because I'm going to Everest, he thought it'd be something to start a YouTube channel, be good, because it may help others out. And if it does, this is fantastic. I'd love that to happen. I'd love it to help other people out. I'd love other people to get something out of the channel, like I do, because I really do. By doing these videos, I get something out of it as well, and it really, really helps me. So that's been this episode of Talking Helps. And as I said last week, at the end of last week's episode, and what's come out of the Isle of Wight last week with the I don't want to say interviews, with the conversations I filmed with Paul and Righty, that it may be another avenue to explore of having conversations with people. And again, not scripted conversations, it's more of a chat, as we do, as human beings should be doing, is having conversations and chats. And it, again, puts the onus then on talking. And if these conversations happen and people are happy to have them videos, just having an everyday chat, and then I'm more than happy to do that. So if anybody wants to, it's fantastic. On it, me and Paul on the way to Isle of Wight, when we were going on a Thursday morning, we were just talking, non-stop talking about just everything, just talking. And I said to him, kind of before we got on the ferry, before we got to the ferry, can you imagine if we'd just videoed this, just edit it and put it out? There was so much detail in there about conversations we had, and it actually gets you thinking. But, and I'm not saying to do it on every conversation you have, because some conversations should remain private and should be a moment you have with a person. Conversations need to stay as a moment you have with a person because they're interested in you, so that's important. But what I'm getting at is, if you can have an open conversation, a conversation with friends or a conversation with somebody, and it's something I am wanting to look at. I am wanting to look at it now, that walk and talks, sit and have conversations, however you want to pan it out. And again, when I started this channel, I was stressed about what I was going to talk about, what I was going to do in every video, and what I'm going to do. But I find, again, last week I mentioned about getting nervous and doing things, and I'm doing it again now. I'm doing it. That's because I'm sat here doing this and I've got my door open, so I'm trying to get used to, again, if people can listen to me recording. Yeah, so it's an avenue to look at, that I want to look at, of doing walk and talk. So if anybody wants to do anything, anybody wants to have a sit and a chat, I'm happy to have it videoed and recorded, and we can watch it back. We can take out whatever you want to take out. We can do whatever you want to do with it and have a look at it and edit it afterwards. It's not necessarily everything has to go in. We'll have. I'm quite happy to have a look at it. So if anybody wants anything like that, drop a comment, let me know, and we'll see where we go. I'm not gonna commit to saying I'm gonna do one every week, because it's obviously heavily reliant on other people, that kind of thing is. So if we can get some, maybe one a month, one every 3 months, one every 2 months, whatever it'll be, we'll have a look. But it'd be nice to get somebody to not just come and have a chat and ask for how I do this, how I do that. I'd like it, somebody to come and do it with me, and maybe ask me challenging questions about things, why I'm doing a channel, and ask me things that gets me thinking on my feet, and videoing it. And let's have a go and see how that goes. But for now, this has been episode 2, Mind Over Mountain, the importance of talking. So again, if you need to reach out to somebody, drop a comment to me, and if it's something I can help with, I will. It's only things I've lived through and been, I can give my opinion on. It's not advice. So listen, again, thank you guys. I really appreciate you watching, the support and everything, and I will see you next week.